We're continuing on this journey, on this journal of Nicholas Creswell, and I'm skipping ahead to August 13th as he's just preparing to and starting to go on his trip, his second trip into the not quite as frontier wilderness. He needs to get rid of his trade silver that he purchased to try to make some money. Sunday, August 13th, 1775, Mr. Berwick was kind enough to let me ride his horse to Fort Pitt, where I am to deliver him to a certain Mr. John Medicine. Left Mr. Crawford's, and with him I left my watch, buckles, breast buckles, stock buckle, silver buttons, with a paper describing how I would have them disposed of if death should happen to be my lot, as everyone tells me that I am running a great risk of being killed by Indians. I'm not afraid of meeting with bad usage from them. Got to Mr. John DeCamp's at night. Fort Pitt, Monday, August 14th. Left Mr. DeCamp's, dined at Turtle Creek, arrived at Fort Pitt in the evening with only $2 in my pocket. Very shabby dress. Put up my horse at the very best inn in town. He's probably being sarcastic there. Know the landlady to be a Tory, sister-in-law to Major Connolly. Tuesday, delivered the horse to Mr. Mattison. Applied to 4 people in town to get cash for my bills on Mr. Kirk, but my appearance prevents my success. Offered to sell my silverware to them, but the rascals know my distress and will not give me more than half its value. Exceedingly uneasy. When he's talking about that silverware, he's talking about the trade silver items that he's purchased to trade to the Native Americans. He's hoping maybe I don't have to go into the wilderness. I can just sell these things off. August 16th, a good deal of company in town, being committee day. No one willing to supply me with a little cash, though I have applied to every man in town where there is a possibility of getting any. Oh, the disadvantages of ragged dress. Very uneasy. And so no one wants to loan anybody money that's dressed poorly. Skipping ahead to Friday. Never till now did I put any confidence in dreams. Last night I went to sleep with a mind as much confused as a skein of silk pulled the wrong way. In other words, very knotted. The behavior of my landlord had been a principal cause, but I find I have a good friend in my landlady who wears the breeches. Dreamed that there was a friend that would relieve me near at hand. I woke with a gleam of hope and waited on Mr. John Anderson, the only person in town that I had omitted. He generously proffered me any cash that I might want to find me a horse and go with me into Indian country, serving as an interpreter and guide. This gentleman, Mr. Anderson, is an Indian trader and has business in their towns, and tells me he had observed my situation for some days and intended to offer me his assistance this day had I not spoke to him. Got some money from him to pay my landlord. When he found that I had got a friend, his tone, the landlord's tone, altered, and it did not signify anything if I did not want to pay him till the treaty. I made use of his own words to him, told him as he paid ready money for his provisions, consequently he must expect the same from me. His wife abused him a good deal about his meanness and called him a pitiful rascal in abundance. And then Saturday, August 19th, waited for Mr. Anderson, employed an Indian woman to make me a pair of moccasins and leggings. This evening, 2 Pennsylvania delegates to the treaty with Indians arrived here, escorted by a party of paltry light horses, Colonel Arthur St. Clair and Colonel James Wilson. Supped and spent the evening with them My landlady remarkably kind to me, owing to my political sentiments agreeing with hers. She is by nature a horrid vixen. There we go. So we see him prepping for this trip. He's found the person to take him into the wilderness, to loan him money so he can get provisions and a horse and whatever he needs here. So instead of going by canoe like the last trip, this isn't nearly so far in, and the best way to go is by horse. And he'll deal with this horse issue multiple times. And then we'll jump in next episode where he finally starts off on this second trip. And this second trip, I think, is as important as the first in that it is completely different. These are two trips into the wilderness, two different kinds of people going, two different directions. Last time he almost interacted, he went very, very deep, but had almost no interaction with Native Americans. And in this situation, he has lots and lots of interactions with Native Americans, and he's with a different person. He's dressed differently. He's trying to do a different thing. And so he has another completely different experience. And we can kind of get a glimpse here about how people imagine the Native Americans to be in the time period, how we imagine them to be today. The picture is always different. It's always different than we expect. It's different than he expects. So really a great section of the book coming up next. And we see here this trouble of, if you don't look right in the situation, and he'll find this out even in the next section, right? If you have to wear the right outfit. So it's like, going to a job interview. Well, you want to look a particular way. Do I want to look very professional? Do I want to look casual? Depends on the situation, right? Well, it's time for another day out on the homestead, working, getting that smokehouse ready for its episode. And I'm struggling a little to figure out exactly how we're going to fill this smokehouse. Just like people in the 18th century, how are we going to fill our smokehouse for winter? I'm thinking, how am I going to fill the smokehouse for our episode? And lots of research to do about using the smokehouse, and how is that next episode going to be? It's easy enough to show something where, we're going to build a thing. Might have a lot of labor in it, but just exactly how they used their smokehouses, little trickier to research. So thank you so much and have a great day.